Welcome back to another stream. So right now I am on the welcome to another stream. So right now I am on the yeah. Oh, I sound weird. Hold on, let me check something. I think this is my processing. Give my settings. Disable. I think I might have messed with the something there. The noise gate too much. Welcome. Yeah. One, two. Yeah. 1, 2. Yeah. All right. Sorry about that. My gain is probably too much. Yeah. Yeah. 1, 2. Yeah. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Yeah. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Shoot. I shouldn't be starting the stream like this, but I'm trying to get the audio correct. It sounds away in my earphone, so I'm trying to get it to sound as good as possible. I really should have done this before I come on, but unfortunately, I didn't do it, so I'm doing it live. Sorry for I can't know, the bad start, but as the title says, we are talking about the Mac Mini, especially the Mac Mini for 599, 600 USD. And the question I am asking myself, and some of the questions I see persons asking online, is who is this Mac Mini for? I think this Mac Mini is for the general user who wants to use the Mac ecosystem, have a Mac computer, possibly already have a monitor, and, would just get the Mac Mini, a keyboard and a mouse, plug it in, and work with it. I definitely don't think this Mac Mini is for, content creator or anybody. Mind you, a content creator can use it, but it just depends on the level of work that they will be doing on it. So let's look at it. Let's look at the keynote and see how they introduce it and what they say about it.
We're going to bring M2 to the Mac Mini as well. Here it is. This is the new Mac Mini with M2. It's even more powerful and capable, and it delivers even more value. Now here's Aaron to tell you more.
Mac Mini is the most affordable way to experience the Mac. And with M1, our users have been blown away by the astonishing performance it delivers in such a compact design. Paired with the Studio display and Magic accessories, the Mini becomes a mighty Mac desktop.
Like every time I see them say paired with the Studio display, the cheapest Studio display starts at $1,600. So pairing a Mac Mini for $600 with a display for $1,600 makes no sense, especially the base model. I can understand a person who is a creative or someone who does a lot of, high demanding work, and they'll probably not buy the regular Mac Mini. They'll probably buy the Mac Mini that costs about 4,000 max out, and then it would make sense to buy a monitor that costs almost $2,000. With a regular Mac Mini, most persons who I believe will be getting the regular Mac Mini, this $600 Mac Mini base model, will be taking a deeper look on it. We'll be looking at the specs and see what you get for this $600. Will not buy a Studio display
Setup. And they also love its versatility. With its compact design, and phenomenal capabilities, it's used in so many places, in so many different ways, from the home office to the studio, to build farms and data centers. In fact, Mac Mini has never been more popular. Today, we're taking the amazing Mini experience even further with M2. M2 features a faster.
All right, so yes, the Mac Mini now has M2. When the Mac Studio came out, currently I have a Mac Studio here. When the Mac Studio came out, most persons thought the Mac Mini was dead. But here it is. Apple revived it, so to speak. Or it was always in their plan to bring back the Mac Mini. Some of the complaints have been seen online about the Mac Mini is that why they didn't give the Mac Mini front ports. So for instance, like the Mac Studio, I have 2 Thunderbolt ports at the front and I have an SD card. Why they didn't give the Mac Mini at least a version of the Mac Mini, especially the Mac Mini Pro, why they didn't give it more UI, more OI. You know what I mean? Why they didn't give it more OI so that persons can plug more stuff into it, or you wouldn't necessarily have to go behind it to plug in SD card or anything like that. And from the understanding that I have, and which most of the tech persons who uses or use a Mac Mini think of the Mac Mini a certain way. Most times persons are docking their Mac Mini under their desk. They're using the peripherals to run like a special SD card, probably even a faster SD card that comes with the Mac Mini, so to speak. A lot of persons are not even keeping the Mac Mini on their desks. Again, because it don't have any front UI, you'll always have to be going behind the Mac Mini. I think Tim Buck showed us how he uses his Mac Mini. It's docked under his desk. He runs a USB memory card reader to the front of his desk so he can easily access it, and hard drive to the front of his desk. So if he's going on the road and you want to carry that hard drive, he does that. So it's stuff like that with how people use the Mac Mini. Why I think Apple was like, nah, we're not putting front I/O on it at all. We're not putting front I/O on the Mac Mini because persons use the Mac Mini a specific way, especially with the build farm that they just show. The front ports in a build farm would probably cause a lot of dust to go inside the Mac Mini, so to speak. So I personally don't think the Mac Mini need front I/O, but some person beg to differ.
Next generation CPU and GPU, much higher memory bandwidth, and a more powerful media engine for blazing performance. So you'll fly through everyday tasks between your favorite apps and be super productive. And Mac Mini with M2 powers through even more demanding workflows. Workflows like image editing in Photoshop are up to 50% faster than M1. With ProRes acceleration coming to the Mini, video editing in Final Cut Pro is over twice as fast. And the new Mac Mini is also great for gaming, running demanding titles like No Man's Sky at even faster frame rates. With this supercharged performance, the new Mini with M2 runs laps around the competition. In fact, it's up to 5 times faster than the best-selling Windows desktop.
All right, so with the new Apple Silicon, we know that Windows Desktop don't have a chance against these Macs, especially when it comes to the same price point. I doubt you can find a Windows Desktop right now at the price point of $600 that can produce the same power, efficiency, the capabilities of the Mac Mini. It's impossible. So don't even try it. Even if you build it yourself, you cannot build a Windows computer for under $600 with the capability and the power of this Mac Mini. Impossible. So we know that. The next thing is let's get to the Mac Mini with the M2 Pro because that is where it really is. Even though we're trying to figure out who the Mac Mini with the base model Mac Mini is for, but we want to look at the pros so that when we're deep diving and looking at it with a more granular looking at it more granular, we can dissect why this Mac Mini is for a very, I would say, a very small section of persons, especially persons who use Mac. Well, maybe I'm wrong about that because especially in America, the general person, I'm not even sure if I'm right about that. But let's look at the Mac Pro, the Mac Mini with the M2 Pro.
That's right. Today, we're introducing Mac Mini with M2 Pro. With M2 Pro, Mini users can now run high-performance workflows that you wouldn't think were possible in such a compact design. It's up to 14 times faster than the fastest Intel-based Mac Mini. So pros can do things previously unheard of on Mini. Musicians can produce music with incredibly powerful plugins and effects without missing a beat. Photographers can adjust huge megapixel images in an instant. Creators can work seamlessly in multicam with multiple camera formats, including ProRes video. And gamers can play titles like Resident Evil Village in console quality. In fact, gaming performance is up to a whopping 15 times faster than the fastest Intel-based Mac Mini. It's phenomenal. So that's the new Mac Mini with M2 and M2 Pro. With much faster performance and incredible connectivity, there's never been a better time to experience Mac Mini. We gave the new Mac Mini to a team of creatives to...
All right, so basically that's it for the Mac Mini with the Pro. Let's kind of look at the specs on Apple website to see what's the difference, how the cost basically break down between the Mac Mini and the Mac Mini Pro. That's what I'm calling them, the Mac Mini M2, because we know we're in the M2 architecture, and the M2 Pro Mac Mini. Apple and these names, I swear. All right, so let's jump to the Apple website. We're on the Apple website right now. We're on the Mac Mini page, and this is what they're saying about the Mac Mini. All right, Mac Mini with M2 packs the speed you need to get more done faster. And Mac Mini and M2 Pro takes it to a whole new level. Bring the Pro chip to the Mac Mini for the first time. Adds to the versatile array of ports, and you have got a desktop ready to flex in any setup, no matter which chip you choose. That's not 100% correct, because when you choose the base model, it's very limited. And we'll show you by going through this. So the base model is $599. The base model is an 8-core CPU, 10-core GPU, up to 24 GB gigs of unified memory and 100 gigabyte memory bandwidth. So 100 gigabyte memory bandwidth. Notice the difference between the Pro and the regular M2. 100 gigs and the Pro is 200 gigs of memory bandwidth. The Pro chip is 19 core GPU and 12 core CPU, while the regular chip is 8 cores. So you're getting 4 more cores for the Pro chip on the CPU, and you're getting 9 more cores for the Pro chip on the GPU. And the Pro chip is up to 32 gigs of unified memory and double the amount of memory bandwidth. So you can see the difference. So now you're seeing the difference in terms of what the 600 US gives you versus when you switch to the Pro. And we'll go into the specs and get some better idea of what that is. All right, let's come down to this part. Yeah, right here. So again, this shows you what you get with the Pro versus what you get with the regular M2. So the M2 Pro gives you more capability, more jacks on the back of the computer because, as we said earlier, there's no front I/O. There's only I/O on the back. I don't think it needs front I/Os, but it's really up to the person who is buying the computer. So if you can notice, there's an Ethernet port, there's 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports, HDMI, 2 USB A's, and an headphone jack, and that is on the regular M2 Mac Mini. Now, if we switch to the M2 Mac Mini Pro, we have 1 Ethernet, 4 Thunderbolt 4, HDMI, 2 USB A, and the headphone jack. So you get an addition of 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports with the Mac Pro, with the M2 Pro, an addition of 2. And that's a big difference, big difference, because the person who would buy the Pro probably will be doing more professional work. So they possibly might need to plug in, more I/O, more stuff into the computer. The regular person who is just buying the $500 base model, they are just a casual Mac user. A person who probably have an iPhone, probably have an iPad. They're not necessarily a power user. They're not necessarily a person who uses their computer to do productivity. Those are the person who I believe the base model will work perfectly for. But once you're doing professional work, once you're doing anything that require rendering and require anything of that nature, it makes sense if you're going to get a Mac Mini to get the Mac Mini Pro. What you're saying is the Thunderbolt speed is 40 gigs. That's good speed. They also come with Wi-Fi 6E, which is an X Plus. So your data transfer between your Mac will be really nice. And again, they're talking about the Studio Display. I don't believe you buy a Studio Display when you're buying the base model. It's ridiculous. It don't make any sense. But some persons will, I guess. Some person might. This is the setup that they show. You definitely need a keyboard and you need a mouse. Most likely you're buying a Mac keyboard and a Mac mouse. Some persons buy Logitech keyboards and different things. They work with it. Right now I have a MX3. Yes, the MX Master 3 mouse, but I have the Mac Touch ID keyboard. And the reason why I have this keyboard, I have actually another keyboard over here. And the reason why I have this keyboard is because of the Touch ID. That's the only reason. I really prefer my Logitech keyboard with the feel and the travel and everything. But the Touch ID just make things simple. You just press the Touch ID, log into your computer, as opposed to having to type in your password every minute. We're gonna look at the specs now. So we're gonna look at the specs for this Mac Mini. All right, so here's the specs. So this will kind of give you a sense and a breakdown of the chips and where they fall in terms of the price. So the regular M2 chip, that's the first one on the list. Regular M2 chip, 8-core CPU with 4 performance core and 4 efficiency core. 10-core GPU, 16-core neural engine, 10 gigabit memory bandwidth. That's the regular one. They have a next, like a small upgrade. Is it M2 chip? What's the difference? What's the difference here? Oh, it's just a storage. So if you can see, you realize that they have 2 different variation. They have a $599 and a $799. The only difference between the $599 and the $799, based on the specs that I'm seeing right here, is that the 599 starts at 512 gigabyte SSD. That's the only difference I'm seeing in the tech specs. That's the only difference. So if you're really talking about, I'm not even sure. Let me go into the order and see, because maybe that's not giving me a good idea. Yeah, this is a better place to get a better sense of it. I'm kind of cutting off that there. But this is a better place to get a better sense, because on the other side, I couldn't really tell what's the difference. But right here, it's much clearer that the regular one, $599, versus the $799, which is the $600 versus the $800 one, you're just getting 256 gigs more SSD. That's it. The core doesn't, the CPU core doesn't change. The GPU core doesn't change. So in other words, you possibly can just go on the regular one and upgrade to the 512, and it gives you the price right there. No, the price is not going to show on the screen. But once you upgrade to the 512, you basically get to the same price for the second model. So the second model that they have right here in the list, it doesn't even make no sense. They never needed to have that second row, the second row, the middle one. But it's there. All right, so again, this first, and the reason why I'm focusing on the 599 one is because I am trying to figure out, or I am kind of saying that this one is geared to a specific type of user. Specific type of user, which possibly is the average user of a Mac. Because I am not the average user of a Mac. I am a content creator. I make videos. I do a lot of stuff on the computer. So I am not the average user. That is the reason why I have the Mac Studio Max, or the Mac Studio M1 Max. But this base model must be for the average user. This base model is like the iMac that they released. It's for the average user. So the average user possibly don't want an iMac. They probably want to have their own monitor, of their choice, and they want to be in the Mac ecosystem. They decide to purchase this $600 version and use it for their computer. That's it. That's the only way I can look at it, because when you compare these specs to the other specs, it is very, very low. However, being that it's the M2 chip, even though it's $600, this is still a powerful machine, a really powerful machine. So I am not knocking it for the power. I am just looking at the price point and looking at the specs and saying, who is this machine for? It's definitely not for me. It's probably definitely not for a lot of my creative friends, but it will work well for a person who, they're in the Mac ecosystem. They want to continue with the Mac ecosystem. They probably have an iPhone, probably an iPad, an iPhone and an AirPod, something like that. And they decide that they want to get a Mac. They would get a Mac Mini, get a monitor, a keyboard and a mouse, and, basically have a system to work with on the Mac computer architecture. And based on that, this is $600. I know you can find nice monitors online for like $300, and you can spend basically under $1,000 and get a powerful system for a person who will be using it like that. A really powerful system. So, yeah, that's the Mac Mini. And who is it for? All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm Shango. I'll see you in the next one. Bless up.